Now we're back to my case studies. Let me show you how I created a doodle coloring book. Similar to this, it's not exactly like it. I haven't even bought this one, but I've used this kind of like a reference. You can see it's 106 pages. Size is 11 times 8.5. I've used a different size. Here's something that I created prior, 6 times 9 inches. I've done it for myself as a test, and we want to work our way through this and have a book that has more than 100 pages and is close to this original right here. You can see it actually sells pretty well. It has 358 ratings. That means that the guy definitely has sold a couple of thousand of these units. We're going to use ChatGPT a little bit, but for the most part Midjourney. And you can try Midjourney for free. But the question is if that is enough. These free payment plans are very limited. So I personally use a paid plan. But if you are already using Midjourney, this is one way to do it. This is the results that you get with the basic prompt. I use Doodle Page for a coloring book. And I also specified by adding black and white, black outlines only. And as an aspect ratio, I'm using -AR 2:3. You can obviously specify what you want. So if you have a certain idea in mind, you want to make it themed, like a doodle coloring book for, I don't know, cats or dogs, something like this. You can specify that in a prompt. Here, just as an example, I've done Doodle Page, various icons, and then I've still added for coloring book, black and white, black outlines only. Don't forget to add your aspect ratio if you actually want to use it. And this is the basic prompt that we're working with, and all that you have to do now is to pick the winners and then upscale them. And then you can create variations of this. You don't necessarily have to adjust the prompt, but if you want to make different themes, you can do that. Sometimes you have these more realistic results, so like kind of like, what is it here, a portrait of a girl. Some of them are actually usable, others are more abstract. I've played around with various keywords, for example monsters, animals. You can also use emotions like fun. You can use simple adjectives like cute, and this should give you a good basis to work with. And then it's all about rinse and repeat. The next step, after you've upscaled and download your images, is to use an image processor. I would recommend using Canva if you don't have Photoshop or anything. Canva is free in its basic version. And you can definitely create what I've created here for free. I'll link to it in the description below. Then you pick your first page, add a little bit of text. So this book belongs to is a good idea to add as your first page. So the cover will be on top, but this is the first one that's actually part of the book. Then you copy your page, and you always want to add an empty page in between what you've got here. I also added a frame. You want to be careful with the frame and check that with KDP, because there needs to be a little bit of space between the frame and the outside of the page, or Amazon is going, or KDP is going to give you a warning message that your book is not printable. So make sure that you use kind of like this as a frame that I've created here using a rectangle. So I've pasted this rectangle, for example, fill color empty, and then give it a stroke color, and then size it up to a size that fits in the KDP guidelines. Be aware that I believe to be able to check your KDP uploads, the book that you upload, it has to have, I believe, 24 pages minimum, or otherwise the preview won't run. So if you just create a frame and you want to check the size, copy this 24 times, and then you can upload it and check if the size is fine for KDP. Next step is to take all of these images that you have from Midjourney and then paste them here. So we'll upload them to Canva, and it's everything here in my example after the book cover that I've used for my last case study. When this is uploaded, you just have to left click on an image and it's going to appear on the right side inside of the frame. So once again, this is page 1. We'll add an empty page. And then on page 3, we'll start with an image. Let's take this one, I size it up so that it fits the frame. And once you have that, click on the image and then add a frame to it. You can also play around with the layers right here and bring it below the frame, but I think it's a little bit more work than just giving it a frame. And you can see sometimes I don't even hit the position right. So from my experience, it's better to give your image a simple frame instead of playing around with the layers. And to do that, we'll just go to this point and then click in the top menu when you have your image selected. Then copy this page. We want to have an empty page in between. Select the image, delete it. Then add your next image. And here, just give it this frame. So as you can see, this is way easier than playing around with the layers. And yet again, this is just rinse and repeat until you've got all of your images stored in such a fashion in Canva. As I've said, I want to have a full book of at least 100 pages. So the goal is to have at least 50 images from Midjourney, and then you have your 50 empty pages in between. And it's actually a good idea to add these empty pages, so it's not like you're deceiving the buyer or anything. But for painting, for coloring books, it's a good idea to leave an empty page, because most markers, they blend through pages, and this is why you don't want to have coloring image after coloring image, but place an empty page in between. Let me fast forward, and here we've got our finished results. It's 105 pages, and you can see it's always coloring image, then empty page, until we have arrived at the start, which was our this book belongs to. Don't worry about the colors here, we're going to upload it in black and white, so you don't have to do much here. You can download it up here. It's set to German in my case, so don't be confused, but the download button should be there for you as well when you use a different language. You can download it in many versions. I would advise you to use a PDF. You can use standard or print. Both have been valid for my projects, so pick one that you like and then download it. Afterwards, we'll go to KDP, and now it's time to add our specific data for this book. Here in this case, we obviously don't need a Kindle version. I've never heard about a coloring book for Kindle, so we'll directly create the paperback version. It's English because of the first page this book belongs to. Let me just call it Doodle Coloring Book. Maybe let me add fun to it. I'll make up an author name. What can we use? Maybe like Nikki Doodle, something like this. When it comes to category, I've seen other people using the self-help category, which sounds a bit weird, but it seems to work for other people that I've seen on YouTube that are more experts when it comes to Kindle publishing. It seems like this is the category. Use self-help, and then there's stress management, creativity. These are the two categories I would definitely use. A third category is possible. You can try arts and photography. There is a specific drawing category somewhere, right here. I've used that as a third category, made it general. So maybe you want to add that. It's also cartooning. But that should be fine. Keywords, pick some that are related. Just think about what people would type into the search bar on Amazon. So doodle, coloring book, adult coloring book, something like this should be fine. Publication date and release date are the same. Release my book for sale now. We can have that checked. But we need to check our description. Here we'll have to add a book blurb, and I'll just use ChatGPT, the free version, to generate one. So I'll just tell it to generate a book blurb for a doodle coloring book aimed at adults. It consists of random doodle and coloring pages with various motifs like fantasy, doodle, monsters, flowers, and portraits. And there you go. You get a good result, especially in English. Let me copy paste this here. And then you can use the top menu here to style it a little bit if you want to. That's it for the first page on Amazon. Let's check the next one. Here we have to actually upload the book now and give it a free ISBN first. As previously mentioned, we'll use black and white, 6 by 9 inches, and here we can upload it. Now we'll have to create a cover. I use Midjourney for this again. Aspect ratio was 6 by 9, so 2 by 3. And it's a good idea to make the cover colored. When I just used colored doodle page, it always gave me more like abstract results, or definitely not fun, cute results. And we want to have our doodle coloring book fun and playful. So I specify that by adding fun and cute motifs. Let me try color book page, cute and fun motifs, fully colored. And I think we can use this one. I upscale number 1, download it. I go back to Canva because I want to add the book title. It was Fun Coloring Book, Fun Doodle Coloring, something like this. Contrast is very low, so I'll add an effect. And I want to add the author name, Nikki Doodle. Let me use this combination, it should be fine. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's just an example. Pick your own styles here. Canva is pretty intuitive and easy to use. Now I want to download this specifically. So download only page 3 in this case. And here you want to use a JPEG and not a PDF. You may have to check later on if the position of the title is fine. It's a paperback, so we'll have to use the cover creator here. And I believe we have to adjust the text position, but I'll first add my book blurb here. We also want to have an image for the author. So I'll just prompt this young female drawing at desk, young woman drawing at desk, something like this. This one here should be fine. I'll take it. Looks okay. Now we still have to check our main cover. Right here you can see the F. It gets cut a little bit. So we'll have to position the text in Canva. Quickly done. I'll re-download it as a JPEG. Let me update it here. Now it looks fine. Alright, that should be fine for our example. Simply adjust it to your own needs. I simply want this to be live so that you can see that everything works, and I've done it on reproject. We have to specify if there's AI content, and we have it for the text, which was the book blurb. And for the images, we don't have a translation. Let us check the manuscript. And everything looks alright. We can approve it. And now we'll have to set the pricing. The one that I've shown you was, I believe, was it $12.99 or something? Let me check it again. Most of these coloring books are $12.99, even $14.99. So let me use $9.99. Then we'll have to confirm, and it takes Amazon up to 72 hours to confirm that this is okay and that everything was set up the way it should be. So I'm going to speed up this video and then come back when it is actually live. And here we are now, it's live. Surprisingly this time it actually took Amazon 3 days to review it and approve it properly. Normally, at least from my experience, it's even under 24 hours. But here, for example, go to the German page, you can see I could buy it now. So it's officially approved and we've set it up correctly. So this is the process to create such a coloring book using AI. Next up, I want to make a video about using AI to edit a fiction novel that I've written. So that's my next case study. But I hope that this one was helpful. If there are further questions, let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.